The hidden message in Synchronicities. 5 different types of synchronicity. Synchronicity is an ever-present reality for those who have eyes to see. Carl Jung. Have you ever experienced a strange coincidence so meaningful it left you speechless, like the universe whispered directly to you? Today's video dives into the powerful and mysterious phenomenon of synchronicity, inspired by the story of Anthony Hopkins and the book that seemingly found its way to him. As we explore 5 different types of synchronicities and their hidden messages, you'll discover how these signs aren't just random. They're invitations to align with your higher self and the rhythm of the universe. So, pay close attention. You might realize the universe has been speaking to you all along. Have you ever experienced a synchronicity that felt too precise to be chance? Share your story in the comments. We'd love to hear it. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss more insights from spiritual wisdom. Now, let's begin. 1. Warning or alert synchronicity. Some call it coincidence, others call it fate. But in the realm of spiritual awakening, there's a deeper truth that often goes unnoticed. The universe speaks through signs, and these signs are not random. They are synchronicities and intelligent patterns designed to guide, warn, and awaken us. One of the most powerful types is the warning or alert synchronicity. This kind of synchronicity often emerges in moments of inner conflict right before a critical decision, during high-stress periods, or when we're unknowingly standing at a fork in the road that could redefine our entire destiny. In such moments, the energy around us becomes unstable, as if reality itself is offering us a gentle nudge or a firm push away from potential danger. What we experience as frustration or delay might actually be divine redirection. Picture this. You're about to purchase a house. Everything on paper looks perfect. Low cost, great location, a deal too good to pass up. But on the day you're supposed to finalize it, your car won't start. It's annoying, sure, but you take a taxi and witness a serious accident en route. Then, arriving at the bank near the property, you see police entering a house next door. It rattles you. Something feels off. And with that uneasy gut feeling, you decide to walk away. Weeks later, you find out the area is riddled with legal problems, gang activity, or perhaps severe structural issues that were well hidden. That delayed the stalled car, the disturbing signs, the weird timing wasn't bad luck. It was spiritual intelligence at work. It was a synchronistic warning that steered you clear of a negative timeline. As men navigate the pressures of leadership, providing for our families, and shaping a meaningful legacy, it's easy to overlook the subtle ways the spiritual realm tries to get our attention. But the truth is, many of the best decisions we make are the ones we don't go through with, and it's often synchronicity that quietly intervenes. In a fast-moving world filled with noise, pausing to reflect on these moments is not weakness, it's wisdom. So if something doesn't feel right, if the timing is off, or life throws up red flags just when you're about to commit, listen closely. These experiences are not random. They are part of your spiritual path, helping you grow into a person who can navigate life not just with logic, but with a deeper, more intuitive understanding. Any delay, interruption, or detour can be a signal to recalibrate your course. It's not superstition, it's spiritual strategy. As you continue on your spiritual awakening path, learn to recognize these moments not as obstacles, but as divine signals. And remember, every synchronicity is a conversation between your higher self and the universe. If you embrace this message, comment below, "I embrace synchronicity." 2. Confirmation synchronicity. When you're on the edge of change, when your heart is stirring with courage and your spirit is daring to believe in a new version of yourself, confirmation synchronicities show up like quiet applause from the universe. Unlike warning signs that signal red flags or danger, these spiritual messages affirm your inner alignment. They're the subtle whispers of reassurance that you are walking the right path in your journey of spirituality and spiritual growth. You might be stepping into unfamiliar territory. Maybe it's a new relationship, a career pivot, or finally choosing to speak your truth. At that vulnerable moment, you receive a sign. Perhaps it's a repeated phrase from strangers, a number pattern you keep seeing, or even a butterfly landing softly on your hand, just like it did for someone who finally launched a business idea that had scared and inspired them for months. On that very day of commitment, 2 butterflies landed on their hands as they overheard someone nearby saying, "You've done the right thing." Coincidence? Not quite. This is confirmation synchronicity, an energetic mirror that reflects back the truth of your brave decision. It's life saying, "Keep going." What makes these synchronicities so powerful is their timing. They don't appear when we're stuck in fear or hesitation. They emerge the moment we commit with clarity, and that's key. They're not about external proof, but about internal readiness. The moment your energy shifts, the outer world responds. Think about it. Have you ever made a bold decision and then suddenly the right person called? Or a message arrived at the perfect moment to calm your nerves? These are not just coincidences. They are reflections of your expanded consciousness meeting the flow of divine timing. The universe always listens, but confirmation synchronicities appear when you start listening back with trust, with presence, and with an open heart. A man once shared that after ending a long-term job that drained his soul, he sat alone in a park, wondering if he'd made a mistake. Just then, a dog ran up to him, dropped a stick, and stared with eyes full of joy, waiting for him to play. The owner shouted from afar, "He only does that when he really likes someone." It wasn't just cute, it was cosmic affirmation. That moment of connection reminded him that he'd chosen freedom, and life was already responding in kind. It's through moments like these that we realize spiritual growth isn't just about meditation or reading sacred texts. It's about listening to the language of life and trusting the signs that are tailored for your journey. So, ask yourself, when was the last time life confirmed your path? Were you paying attention, or were you too distracted by fear to notice? You don't have to go searching for signs. Instead, focus on aligning with your truth. Act from the soul, and the signs will follow. Confirmation. Synchronicities are not magic tricks. They are spiritual echoes of your own evolution. The more you grow, the more clearly you'll see that the universe speaks in symbols, timing, and emotion. Trust that when your spirit speaks clearly, life listens and responds with unmistakable grace. When you walk in spiritual integrity, the world around you becomes your mirror. Stay committed to your growth, take aligned risks, and look for the affirming signs. They won't always come in dramatic flashes. Sometimes, it's just a gentle nudge, a word on a billboard, or a stranger's smile but they all carry the same message. Yes, you're on the right path. Let that be your fuel. Let that be your reminder that spirituality is not a destination. It's a relationship with the unseen. Keep walking forward and let the universe walk with you. I would love to hear your thoughts on this. What is your perspective on the importance of this value? Share your insights and let's continue this conversation. 3. Prophetic Synchronicity. Let's talk about something truly mysterious, yet deeply personal: prophetic synchronicity, also known as spiritual omens or symbolic messages from the universe. Carl Jung, the pioneer of analytical psychology, once said, "Synchronicity is an ever-present reality for those who have eyes to see." That quote captures the essence of what we're exploring here. Moments when reality whispers through symbols, numbers, dreams, or signs that seem to appear out of nowhere but arrive right on time. Have you ever seen the same number pattern pop up repeatedly, like 1111 on the clock, or triple threes on a license plate, and felt like it meant something, even if you couldn't quite explain what? That's not just a coincidence. That's prophetic synchronicity, one of the deepest forms of spiritual wisdom the universe uses to communicate with you. These synchronicities often show up during periods of emotional intensity or transition, when you're at a crossroads, questioning your path, or secretly hoping for a sign. They could come as a vivid dream, a stranger's exact words echoing your private thoughts, or a recurring animal or symbol that resonates with your inner state. And while the sign may seem external, its true meaning comes from within. That's the spiritual twist. It's not about what the sign is, it's about what it awakens in you. Unlike random coincidences, prophetic synchronicities often feel charged with meaning. They nudge you, confirm your gut feelings, or gently warn you to pause before taking a wrong turn. However, as Carl Jung taught us, the language of the soul is symbolic, not literal, so these signs require interpretation. This is why keeping a personal synchronicity journal is so important. When you track these moments over time, you'll start to see patterns that speak directly to your consciousness and your evolving spiritual journey. Just like dreams, these signs are fragments of your deeper self trying to surface. And here's where it gets fascinating. Many people who experience spiritual awakenings report that their synchronicities increase in frequency and clarity. Why? Because the more aligned you become with your soul's truth, the more sensitive you become to the language of the universe. In those moments, your inner world and outer reality dance together in harmony, and that dance is the essence of prophetic synchronicity. Have you ever experienced a moment that felt too perfectly timed to be random? A sign that left you speechless or deeply moved? What if that was the universe confirming that you are exactly where you need to be? In times like these, spiritual wisdom invites you not to brush it off, but to listen deeper, reflect, and ask, what is this sign trying to show me about myself, my path, or my next step? The more you honor these moments with presence and curiosity, the more the language of synchronicity opens up to you, not as something magical, but as a reflection of your growing connection to consciousness itself. If this message resonates with you, don't forget to like this video and share it with others who might need these great values. Let's continue this conversation and go deeper into what these values really mean. 4. Manifestation Synchronicity. They say, what you seek is seeking you, and nowhere is that more evident than in what we call Manifestation synchronicity is a deeply spiritual phenomenon that speaks to the mysterious power of your thoughts, your energy, and your conscious intention. This type of synchronicity unfolds when something you've merely thought about or silently desired suddenly appears in your physical world without logical explanation. You might think of an old friend you haven't seen in over 10 years, and without reaching out, you bump into him at the grocery store the next day. Or you quietly wish for a rare book that's out of print, only to find it resting on a public bench. These are not simply coincidences. They are signs that your inner world is more deeply connected to external reality than you've been led to believe. In spiritual terms, they are the universe's response to your focused intention, a mirror reflecting back what your soul is energetically transmitting. And this leads to a profound question. Did your mind foresee what would happen, or did your desire cause the event to unfold? This is where the mystery deepens. According to certain interpretations in quantum physics, particularly those influenced by the observer effect, your consciousness doesn't just witness reality, it has the power to influence it. Some researchers even suggest that under specific conditions, our conscious focus might bend the flow of time itself, subtly rewriting fragments of the past to align with our present intention. That may sound like science fiction, but spiritual awakening is, in many ways, the process of realizing just how powerful and interconnected you truly are. When you experience manifestation synchronicity, it's not just about getting what you want. It's a wake-up call from the universe that says, your thoughts matter, your energy has weight, and your desires shape your destiny. And in today's world, where so many people feel powerless or stuck in routines, recognizing this power can be the first spark that leads to deeper self-awareness and a more intentional life. But here's the catch. This isn't just about thinking positively or wishing hard enough. It's about energetic alignment. If you're filled with doubt, fear, or resistance, you'll likely attract more confusion than clarity. But when your inner world is calm, clear, and aligned with purpose, synchronicities begin to multiply. So ask yourself today, what am I focusing on? What energy am I radiating into the world? Because whether you're aware of it or not, the universe is listening, and it responds not to your words, but to your vibration. Accepting this truth requires not only faith, but also responsibility. You are not a passive observer of life. You are a co-creator of it. And every moment of spiritual growth brings you closer to mastering that co-creation. So if you have experienced one of these strange alignments where your thoughts become your reality, know that it is not just luck. It is a sign that your spiritual awakening is taking place, and that life is inviting you to join in the process of opening up to a much deeper truth. If you join in this process, please comment below. I choose this wonderful energy. 5. Opportunity synchronicities. There's something almost magical about those moments when the right door opens just as you're ready to walk through it. These are what we call opportunity synchronicities. Those uplifting, soul-affirming events when preparation meets divine timing. You may have spent weeks or even years working quietly on your skills, dreams, or inner self. And then suddenly, the right job appears, the right person reaches out, or the right idea clicks into place. It's not coincidence. It's a reflection of your energy, aligning with the flow of the universe. One of the most beautiful aspects of spirituality is the realization that the universe doesn't just operate on logic, it responds to who you are becoming. these moments often arrive with a sense of peace and certainty, where everything feels like it's unfolding effortlessly, and you just know in your heart that you're meant to follow this path. Carl Jung once said, "When you are on the path of your soul, coincidences happen to encourage you." So ask yourself, have you experienced this kind of alignment recently, where everything just seemed to work out perfectly? And if not, could it be that you're in a season of preparation, laying the foundation for synchronicities to bloom? Let me share a quick story. There was a man in his late 30s who had quietly been studying graphic design in his spare time, even though his full-time job was in customer service. He never talked much about it, just worked on his craft at night. Then one afternoon, while helping a difficult customer, he casually mentioned a design he was working on. The customer, as it turns out, owned a boutique branding agency and asked to see his portfolio. That one moment of alignment being ready and open led to a full-time creative career that changed his life. It wasn't forced. It wasn't planned. It was spiritual growth in motion, where who he had become inside finally mirrored what he was ready to receive on the outside. These kinds of synchronicities don't just make life easier. They validate your inner work. They whisper to your spirit, "You're on the right path. Keep going." So here's something to reflect on. Are you truly prepared for the opportunity you're asking for? Are your intentions clear, your energy aligned, and your actions in harmony with your vision? Because when you cultivate awareness and commit to your own growth, the universe responds. That's the heart of spirituality. It's not about forcing outcomes, but about aligning with who you're meant to be so that what's meant for you can find you. Stay grounded in your truth. Stay open to the unexpected. And remember that every small act of growth is preparing you for something greater. You never know when the next opportunity for synchronicity will appear. But when it does, you'll recognize it as a sign that your spiritual journey is unfolding exactly as it should. If this message speaks to you, take it a step further and share it with someone who might need this reminder. Together, we can build connections rooted in honesty and respect. As we've explored in this video, synchronicities aren't just random events. They're meaningful messages guiding you toward growth, alignment, and deeper purpose. From dream symbols to repeated numbers, these 5 types of synchronicity remind us that life is always speaking to us if we're willing to listen. Keep a journal, reflect often, and stay open to the mystery. The more you align with your inner truth, the more the universe responds in kind. Have you noticed any synchronicities in your own life recently? Share your experiences in the comments. We'd love to hear your story. And if this video sparked something within you, don't forget to like, subscribe to Spiritual Wisdom, and turn on the bell so you won't miss what's coming next on your journey of awakening. 13 signs your aura is too powerful for most people to handle. As Carl Jung once said, the most terrifying thing is to accept oneself completely. But what if your very presence already stirs the world around you? In today's video from Spiritual Wisdom, we explore 13 powerful signs that your aura is too intense for most people to handle, not because there's something wrong with you, but because your energy reveals truths others aren't ready to face. If you've ever been told you're too much, too deep, or simply felt misunderstood for your energy, you're not alone. These signs will help you understand your power, embrace it with confidence, and use it to elevate your life and the lives of those around you. Which of these signs have you experienced most in your journey? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. We'd love to hear your story. 1. The aura is your energetic signature, rooted in psychology. Carl Jung, the father of analytical psychology, didn't speak of auras in the mystical sense, yet his insights into the unconscious laid the psychological foundation for what many now understand as energy. According to Jung, when the conscious mind and unconscious self come into alignment, the result is a state of deep integrity, a kind of psychic wholeness that radiates outward. What you project isn't just confidence, it's presence, it's coherence, and most importantly, it's power. Your aura is your energetic fingerprint, completely unique, impossible to fake, and felt long before it's ever understood. It's the sum of your thoughts, emotions, wounds, healing, and self-awareness. It is how your inner world vibrates into the outer world. When you're aligned with your truth, when you've done the inner work to become whole, your aura doesn't just glow. It speaks. It communicates silently, but forcefully. And while some people will be drawn to it, like moths to a flame, others will flinch in discomfort, not because you're doing anything wrong, but because your energy exposes what they've hidden from themselves. This is the silent paradox of a powerful aura. You become a living mirror. Your calm highlights their chaos. Your groundedness reveals their anxiety. Your authenticity threatens the masks they've grown comfortable behind. This isn't your fault. This is projection, a dynamic Jung described in great detail. People unconsciously cast their shadows onto others, and when your light is too bright, it becomes unbearable for those still hiding in their darkness. That's why you might notice strange patterns. People avoid eye contact, conversations shifting into awkward tones, friends turning cold for no reason, colleagues keeping their distance without cause, even strangers sensing something in you they can't explain but feel deeply. This has little to do with your behavior and everything to do with your vibration. You hold an energy they haven't yet learned to carry, and the dissonance between their unresolved pain and your inner peace creates discomfort. But here's where the transformation happens. When you stop personalizing the resistance, when you realize that your aura is not a problem to fix, but a proof of the healing you've done. You didn't just wake up with this energy, you earned it. Through the fires of emotional pain, through the valleys of shadow work, through choosing integrity over performance, silence over noise, authenticity over approval. You faced yourself, and that is the rarest kind of power. You no longer need to explain yourself. You no longer shrink to soothe the room. You no longer betray your truth to keep the peace. Why? Because your very presence has become a message. It doesn't ask for validation. It doesn't shout. It simply is. A powerful aura doesn't demand the spotlight. It naturally commands attention, not with noise, but with resonance. Like a tuning fork that quietly aligns everything around it, your energy becomes the unspoken leader, the unintentional catalyst. And this is where many people struggle. They assume being liked means being safe, being small, being digestible. But when your aura is powerful, it's not about being liked. It's about being true. It's about being a reminder of what is possible, of what is real, of what they have not yet dared to become. You become the evidence of depth in a world obsessed with surfaces. You are not intimidating. You are illuminating. You are not difficult. You are different. And those who are ready will recognize you not by what you say, but by how they feel in your presence, challenged, awakened, seen. So the next time someone misreads you, misunderstands you, or resists you without reason, remember, it's not personal. It's energetic. It's a projection. And most importantly, it's a sign that your light is working. Your aura is a sacred frequency. Protect it. Don't shrink it. Don't apologize for it. Live it fully. Because in doing so, you silently give others permission to rise, to heal, to awaken. Let your alignment speak louder than your words ever could. And if you're ready to claim that level of consciousness, comment below. I align my energy as a sacred declaration of your power. 2. A powerful aura exposes others, not just inspires them. Your aura isn't just a mystical glow or some abstract concept. It's the energetic fingerprint of your soul. It's the silent language of your inner truth. And when your energy becomes strong, grounded, and aligned, it doesn't just walk into a room, it shifts the atmosphere. You don't need to speak. Your presence alone can stir emotions in others, not because you've done anything wrong, but because your very existence reflects a level of truth that many people are not yet ready to face. Carl Jung once said, "The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are." And that's exactly what happens when your aura grows in power. It's not arrogance, it's alignment. You vibrate on a frequency that disrupts the comfort zones built on illusions and self-denial. And make no mistake, this kind of spiritual wisdom can be deeply uncomfortable for those who are still hiding from themselves. Let me share a quick story to make this real. A woman named Claire had been doing deep healing work for months, meditating, journaling, releasing old traumas. She wasn't trying to be different. She simply was. But soon, friends she'd known for years stopped calling. People at work started gossiping. She felt isolated. What she didn't realize was that her presence had changed. She no longer sought validation, no longer played small, no longer avoided difficult truths. Her aura was now a mirror, and some people couldn't handle what it reflected back. That's what happens when your energy begins to speak louder than your words. You stop needing to explain yourself. You stop needing to convince anyone of your worth. You just are. And in that state of being, your aura becomes both a magnet and a filter. Some will be drawn to your light like moths to a flame. Others will retreat, uncomfortable in your presence because your clarity exposes their confusion. Jung may not have used the word aura, but his teachings on individuation and the unconscious mind speak to the same truth. We are fields of energy as much as we are minds and bodies. The more honest you become with yourself, the more that energy intensifies. It's not about charm. It's not about charisma. It's about self-awareness. And when you embody that awareness, when you stop performing and start living in full spiritual integrity, your energy becomes a silent act of rebellion against everything false. You're no longer playing the game. You're no longer shrinking to fit into places that dishonor your soul. And that's exactly why some people pull away. They're not rejecting you. They're rejecting the parts of themselves that your presence activates. But don't let that make you question your path. This isn't something to feel guilty about. It's a sign of your growth. You're not just a person anymore, you're a presence. You're not just speaking about energy, you are the energy. You're not trying to impress, you're expressing. That's real spiritual wisdom. And when your aura is this powerful, you stop trying to fix others. You focus on staying whole. You stop over-explaining. You start attracting what matches your frequency. You become a mirror, not always a flattering one, but always a necessary one. Because sometimes the truth doesn't soothe, it reveals. So if you're walking this path, if you feel your energy shifting, your circle thinning, and your truth deepening, know that you're not alone. You are evolving. You are aligning. And your presence is a quiet revolution in a noisy world. If you're ready to own your authentic energy and let your presence speak volumes, comment below. I own my authentic energy. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss a drop of spiritual wisdom from our channel. 3. Powerful auras act as mirrors. There's a reason your presence feels intense to some people. It's not because you're loud, flashy, or trying too hard. It's because your aura is powerful. And when your aura radiates authenticity and alignment, it doesn't just brighten a room, it shifts it. As the psychologist Carl Jung once said, the privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. When you embody that truth, others can't help but feel it. You see, you don't need to speak to be heard. Your energy speaks first. And often, what it says is uncomfortable, not because you are unkind or judgmental, but because your very existence reflects what others are trying to suppress. Your powerful aura becomes a mirror, bringing up unhealed wounds, hidden insecurities, and silent fears in the people around you. They might misinterpret this as criticism or arrogance, but in reality, it's their own pain rising up in the face of your clarity. When you've done the work, the real inner work of healing, shedding, and evolving your energy becomes unmistakable. It is rooted, it is grounded, and it carries the quiet wisdom of someone who no longer seeks validation from the outside. And this alone, dear soul, can shake people. Because while many are still acting from a place of performance or pretending, you've learned to live from the soul. That contrast is both magnetic and polarizing. Some people are drawn to your light, others retreat from it. But either way, you leave an impression that cannot be ignored. A powerful aura doesn't need noise to be noticed. It draws people in through stillness, through presence. You don't have to try to be someone. You already are. And that being, that essence, communicates more than any words ever could. People who have not yet met their own truth may feel threatened, even if you've done nothing but stand in peace. It's not personal. It's energetic. Energy always precedes words. Here's what's important to understand. You didn't stumble upon this frequency. You earned it. Through heartbreaks, breakdowns, solitude, and deep transformation, you've cultivated a vibration that few are willing to maintain. And because you've made peace with your shadows, you no longer play small to fit in. You don't abandon yourself to keep others comfortable. This is the work of spiritual awakening, and you're walking it. But let's get real. A powerful aura can be lonely. People might fall away. Friends may distance themselves. Family might not understand. But that doesn't mean something is wrong with you. On the contrary, it means your energy is doing what it's meant to do, triggering growth. Your frequency is like a tuning fork. It shakes loose anything not in harmony. And while some will rise with you, others will resist the shift. So if you've ever wondered why you draw strong reactions, admiration, envy, curiosity, or silence, now you know. It's not you they're reacting to. It's what you awaken inside them. That's the law of attraction in action. And that's also the gift of living with spirituality, truth, and integrity. Your aura reminds people of what they've forgotten. That alignment is possible, that self-love is powerful, and that healing is real. There's nothing you need to shrink for. Keep standing in your wholeness. Keep honoring your journey. Let your aura speak louder than your words, and trust that those who are ready will recognize your light. The world doesn't need more masks. It needs more souls like yours. Clear, calm, courageous. If this message speaks to your soul, take a moment to subscribe to Spiritual Wisdom. Here, we honor the power of your presence, explore the truths of energy and manifestation, and support each other in the journey of self-awareness and spiritual growth. And remember, your aura isn't too much. It's exactly what this world needs. 4. Individuation creates a magnetic, disturbing presence. When you integrate your shadow and become whole, what Carl Jung called individuation, you radiate a different kind of presence. It's not loud, flashy, or attention-seeking. It's grounded, real, and intensely magnetic. This kind of energy doesn't demand the spotlight. It is the spotlight. It quietly commands attention without effort because it carries weight, truth, and coherence. But here's what many people don't understand. That very coherence can deeply disturb others. Not because you're doing anything wrong, but because your wholeness contrasts with their fragmentation. You are a mirror, and when people haven't faced themselves, they'll recoil from what you reflect back. Those who still live behind masks, who suppress their wounds and wear personas built for approval, will feel uneasy in your presence. Your authenticity unsettles the performance. Your clarity disturbs the confusion they've grown used to. Your energy feels like a truth bomb going off in a room full of illusions. You might notice people pulling away, making passive remarks, or acting uncomfortable for reasons they can't articulate. Don't mistake this for rejection. It's resistance not to you, but to what you represent, the possibility of wholeness. And wholeness scares people who haven't yet faced their own chaos. This dynamic can play out anywhere in meetings where your silence says more than small talk ever could, in friendships that start to wither without clear reason, or in family circles where your presence feels like a challenge to unspoken roles and rules. What's happening isn't personal, it's energetic. You've become a frequency others aren't tuned to yet. And when two energies don't harmonize, the discord is palpable. But you are not here to shrink for harmony. You are here to embody truth, even when it creates tension. Your aura carries the vibration of someone who has walked through their own darkness and emerged with wisdom, not bitterness. And that's powerful. That's rare. That's unsettling. Because most people have been trained to hide their wounds, not heal them. So when they see someone who has alchemized pain into presence, they don't know whether to be inspired or intimidated. Often, it's both. And so, without meaning to, your mere existence becomes a catalyst. You activate people, not with words, but with energy. Some will grow because of you. Others will distance themselves. Let them. Keep walking your path. Not everyone is ready for the storm you carry. And yet, that storm is the very thing that clears the way for yourself and for the world. If you felt the shift within where your authenticity disturbs, not just inspires, then declare it. Comment below, "I am whole, and my energy speaks truth." 5. You shift the atmosphere instantly. Your aura walks in before your body does. That's not poetry. It's energetic fact. You don't just enter a room, you transform it. Your energy carries a vibration so potent that it either calms the chaos or stirs it up, depending entirely on the emotional state of those around you. The shift you create is not subtle. It's immediate, unspoken, and deeply felt. Carl Jung once said, "There is no coming to consciousness without pain." And for many, your energy is that awakening. Pain brings clarity, or it brings resistance, but it never leaves anything untouched. Have you ever noticed people stop and look at you without knowing why? Or how a conversation changes the moment you arrive? That's not about how you look. It's your aura, your presence, your frequency. People sense something in you that isn't explained by words. You bring truth into rooms built on masks. And truth, my friend, is magnetic, but also unsettling, especially for those who haven't made peace with their own shadows. Here's the thing. You're not trying to challenge anyone. You're not even saying anything most of the time. Yet your very presence becomes a mirror. People feel seen, not just their surface, but their wounds, their fears, their inconsistencies. When you are aligned with yourself, others can't pretend to be aligned with their own dysfunction. That tension, that's your stillness triggering their inner noise. And this extends beyond humans. Animals and children who have not yet learned to lie to themselves feel you instantly. A dog might come to you in stillness or back away in anxiety. A child might stare at you, entranced, or hide behind their parent's leg, because even they can feel your soul's current. They're not reacting to how you look. They're responding to the charge of truth you carry in a world diluted with pretense. Let me tell you a story. A woman named Maya once worked in several offices where strange patterns followed her. People either opened up to her as if she'd known them for years, or they began avoiding her with no obvious reason. At first, she doubted herself. Am I too intense? She wondered. Am I the problem? But over time, Maya discovered the truth. She wasn't the source of the problem. She was the reveal. Her energy wasn't disturbing the peace. It was revealing the inner wars people were fighting silently. She didn't need to change her frequency. She needed to honor it. That's the lesson here for you. You don't shift atmospheres by doing anything. You shift them by being yourself. Your energy field, your aura, is a force of nature. It speaks before your mouth does. It reveals what's hidden, not to shame, but to awaken. And those who are not ready to awaken may resist you. But that doesn't mean you are too much. It means you are exactly what this moment is asking for. Never shrink yourself to make others comfortable in their illusions. Never dim your brilliance to maintain the status quo. If your aura unsettles the room, maybe the room needs to be unsettled. As Carl Jung wisely stated, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. You are a living reminder of that truth. Your authenticity is not a weapon, it's a wake-up call. And in a world lulled to sleep by superficiality, your energy is the alarm. If this message resonates with you, if you've ever walked into a room and felt the weight shift, then you are not alone. You are powerful beyond what you realize, and that power is needed. So let your aura speak. Let your presence disturb, inspire, ignite. Comment below, I shift energy. Your voice amplifies the light. Your truth deepens the awakening. And your presence? It's the catalyst this world has been waiting for. 6. You trigger psychological projection. People with powerful auras don't need to speak loudly to be heard. Their presence alone stirs something deep in others. When your energy is intense, pure, and aligned, it doesn't just light up a space it reflects. It reveals. It exposes. And for many people, that's deeply uncomfortable. This is why you often become the target of projections. You're not the cause of their emotional outbursts, their envy, or their accusations. You're simply the mirror that shows them what they're not ready to see. Carl Jung once said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate." That unconscious material, fear, guilt, jealousy, needs a trigger to rise to the surface. Your aura is that trigger. People feel your authenticity, your clarity, your calm, and instead of being inspired, they feel threatened. Not because you are harmful, but because they've never truly looked at themselves in that way. And in the presence of your light, their shadows feel exposed. In daily life, this can show up in subtle but draining ways. You might be at work, quietly focused, doing your best, and someone suddenly starts acting passive-aggressively towards you. You haven't done anything wrong, but your presence unsettles them. Why? Because they've spent years hiding behind masks, and you just by being real disrupt that comfort. You make them feel things they buried: inadequacy, insecurity, unresolved guilt. Rather than reflect, they react. Even in close relationships, this dynamic can be painful. You may be loving, steady, and emotionally self-aware, yet your partner begins projecting their wounds onto you. They accuse you of things you've never done. They question your loyalty. They try to make you feel guilty for simply being independent. The truth is, they are struggling to meet you at the level of clarity you're vibrating at. And rather than admit their inner chaos, they blame the peace you embody. When you carry strong, high-frequency energy, you don't just inspire transformation, you provoke it. And transformation is uncomfortable. People may call you too sensitive, too distant, too intense. But none of that is true. What's actually happening is that their subconscious is trying to protect them from the truth you bring too close to the surface. You're not meant to dim your light to soothe those still hiding from theirs. You're not here to carry the emotional projections of others. Your job is to stay aligned, to remember that you're not the cause of their discomfort. You're the invitation to growth they weren't ready for. Stay centered. Don't internalize their storms. And don't confuse their fear with your fault. When you walk into a room and people shift, when you speak and others feel exposed, when you love deeply and others push you away, it's not your fault. It's your power. A powerful aura disrupts illusions. It triggers unconscious patterns. And while not everyone will appreciate it, those who are ready to awaken will never forget it. 7. Your energy elicits intense reactions from strangers. When your energy field is strong, it doesn't ask for attention. It demands a reaction. You may notice that strangers either open up to you instantly or become uncomfortable in your presence. This isn't random. It's the invisible impact of your vibration interacting with their subconscious mind. Your aura, which carries the emotional and spiritual resonance of who you truly are, stirs up the emotions others haven't yet dealt with. They don't know why they feel exposed or unsettled around you, but it's because your frequency naturally brings the hidden to light. Many people live behind emotional masks, unaware of how much they've suppressed. Then you walk into the room, calm, authentic, whole, and suddenly their defenses shake. Some are drawn to you, pulled by a deep sense of safety, as if your energy gives them permission to be real. Others, however, may act defensive or cold because your presence reminds them of everything they've buried. Their reaction has little to do with you and everything to do with what your energy reflects back to them. Your vibration acts as a mirror, one that reveals what they're not ready to see. Carl Jung understood this deeply. He wrote, "People will do anything, no matter how absurd, to avoid facing their own soul. Your aura, however, confronts them with their soul without saying a word." That's why you've had random conversations where people confided in you as if they'd known you forever. That's also why some people respond with sudden irritation or judgment. Your spiritual field doesn't just comfort, it awakens. An awakening is rarely a comfortable process. You carry the weight of presence. Not everyone is ready to feel it. Your energy pierces through superficial interactions and reaches something ancient and real in people. For some, that's healing. For others, it's terrifying. And yet, it's not your job to dim your light, to protect others from their own shadows. Your only responsibility is to continue embodying truth, even when truth disturbs the room. This is the burden and the blessing of having a powerful aura. You'll walk through the world awakening reactions that have nothing to do with your words or actions and everything to do with your energy. The more aligned and whole you become, the more you'll trigger what's unaligned and fragmented in others. It's not personal, it's spiritual. The stronger your light, the more it exposes. That's the unspoken impact of powerful energy. It liberates some and rattles others. Either way, it leaves no soul untouched. Comment below, "My energy awakens truth," if you've noticed how strangers react deeply to your presence. Your aura isn't random. It's a mirror to the soul. If this resonates, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss more insights like this. 8. You're labeled too intense or misunderstood. People who live on the surface often find emotional depth confusing, even threatening. They may say, "You're too serious, too intense, or too much," when in truth, what they're reacting to is your energetic presence, your inner clarity, your spiritual resonance. You carry emotional and spiritual frequencies that confront the unconscious parts of others. You stir something they've spent years suppressing. You don't just speak from the mind, you speak from the soul. And that makes people feel naked, exposed, and unsure around you. This reaction isn't about your behavior, it's about your essence. Your aura, the energetic field surrounding you, holds your emotional truth. It is shaped by your self-awareness, your healing, your shadow work, and your courage to be real in a world obsessed with appearances. Most people haven't met themselves in silence, haven't sat with their grief, their rage, their longing. So when you walk into the room, radiating authenticity, they feel it, and for many, it's too much. It triggers shame, fear, jealousy, or confusion they don't know how to name. So instead, they blame your intensity. You've been forged by fire spiritually, emotionally, energetically. You've gone through things that shattered you, and instead of hiding the cracks, you let the light pour through them. You carry truth in your voice and purpose in your eyes. And that makes you magnetic, but also polarizing, because your presence invites people to either rise or retreat. Some will be drawn to your energy like a lifeline. Others will resent it because it reminds them of everything they've buried. Your depth disrupts the illusion of normal. In a world that rewards superficiality, distraction, and emotional detachment, your clarity is radical. You listen differently. You love differently. You ask questions that pierce the veil of denial. You see what people try to hide, and you don't play along with the game. And while some people will find healing in your presence, others will call you dramatic, overwhelming, or too deep, simply because you don't give them the option to stay asleep. There is a sacred discomfort you bring, and that is your gift. Your emotional energy isn't chaotic, it's alive. It vibrates with sincerity and purpose. You weren't made to be small. You weren't designed to be tolerated. You were born to activate truth in the people around you, even if that truth makes them flinch. Your aura challenges the masks others wear. It reflects what they're not ready to face. And that reflection can feel like pressure, when in reality, it's an invitation. You've never been too much. You've just been around too many people who settled for too little. They weren't prepared to witness someone who feels so deeply, loves so fiercely, and sees so clearly. But that doesn't mean you need to change. It means you need to remember who you are and stand firmly in that power. Not to prove anything, but to live freely, fully, and awake. If you've ever been called too intense or misunderstood for simply being deep and authentic, you're not alone. Comment, I resonate with this, if you felt this way, or not my experience, if you see it differently. Your voice matters. Let's talk about it in the comments. 9. You're a magnet for toxic people without boundaries. Toxic or narcissistic people don't just stumble into your life by accident. They are often drawn in by the rare frequency your energy radiates. There is something magnetic about your integrated aura, something steady and whole that they subconsciously crave. These individuals, who haven't done the inner work to heal or evolve, are instinctively attracted to your light, not because they respect it, but because they want to consume it. They see in you what they are unwilling to cultivate within themselves: self-awareness, emotional strength, and spiritual harmony. Your aura acts like a beacon. It doesn't scream for attention, but its authenticity speaks volumes in a world full of facades. That's why people come to you with their problems, their emotional messes, their unresolved traumas. Without realizing it, you become their healer, their counselor, their emotional sponge. But the danger here is subtle. When your boundaries aren't firm, your compassion can quickly turn into self-sacrifice. You give, they take. You listen, they unload. You soothe, they depend. And somewhere in that cycle, your energy begins to fray at the edges. This dynamic is not about blame. It's about awareness. As Carl Jung once said, people will do anything, no matter how absurd, to avoid facing their own souls. So instead of turning inward, toxic people reach outward to you. They want access to your energy without earning the wisdom that created it. They want the fruit, not the roots. And if you're not mindful, their chaos becomes your confusion. You start to wonder why your presence stirs up intensity in others, why people either cling to you or lash out without provocation. The answer lies in your frequency. Your aura is a mirror, and for many, what they see reflected is the truth they've long avoided. Your stability highlights their instability. Your peace confronts their inner storm. Your light exposes their shadows. And so, without boundaries, You become a magnet for the emotionally unhealed. They don't want to grow. They want to be carried. They don't want to rise. They want to feed. And while empathy is one of your greatest gifts, it must be paired with discernment. Not everyone deserves access to your sacred space. Not everyone is meant to walk beside you. And love without limits is not love, it's depletion. In the real world, this shows up in small but relentless ways. You're the one people vent to, but rarely ask about. You're the friend who gives advice, but has no one to turn to. You're the employee who holds the emotional weight of the team, even if no one says it out loud. And when you begin to set boundaries, you notice who respects your space and who tries to push past it. That's the difference between connection and control. Your powerful aura is not a weakness, it's a responsibility. And just as a flame must be protected from the wind to keep burning, your energy must be guarded from those who only want its warmth, but not its source. True power lies not in being available to everyone, but in being fully present for yourself. To affirm your awareness and energetic boundaries, comment below, "I protect my peace." Your words might be the reminder someone else needs today to stand strong in their light. 10. You naturally repel the superficial. People who are deeply attached to surface-level validation often feel uneasy around you, not because you are unkind, but because your energy doesn't play by the same rules. You don't flatter, you don't perform, and you don't conform just to make others comfortable. Your authenticity becomes a silent confrontation. It holds up a mirror, one that reflects the hollowness of pretenses and the fragility of false identities. This is why those who live for appearances or hide behind polished masks either avoid you or try to reduce you by calling you intense, serious, or boring. They may not understand it consciously, but your presence makes them feel seen in a way they aren't ready for. You don't engage in shallow talk for the sake of fitting in, and you don't inflate your personality to gain approval. That alone disorients people who rely on external validation for their sense of self. They might gossip, overcompensate with charm, or constantly seek attention, but none of that moves you. Your stillness, your grounded nature, it unsettles them because it exposes how noisy and disconnected they truly feel inside. They may try to label your depth as a flaw, but it's not. It's a sign of coherence. Carl Jung said, "The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are." And you are living that truth, whether others can understand it or not. You don't repel people because of negativity. You repel superficiality because your vibration demands truth. You unconsciously remind people of what they've buried: their silence, their unresolved wounds, their forgotten desires for real connection. This is why, even in crowds, you often stand alone. Not because you are lonely, but because your spirit refuses to settle for anything less than real. You may feel isolated at times, but that isolation is sacred. It means your soul is choosing quality over quantity, depth over noise, truth over convenience. You're not here to entertain illusions. You're here to awaken energy. And that awakening will always trigger something in others: admiration in the ready, resistance in the unready. Spiritual wisdom reminds us that your aura is not just a presence, it's a purifier. It moves through spaces and cleanses what is fake, what is performative, what is hollow. You don't have to speak to make a shift happen. Your being already speaks for you. And in a world drowning in distraction, Your authenticity is a rare medicine. It's no wonder some people can't handle it. You're not too much. You're just living in alignment, and that is always disruptive to those who aren't. If you've ever been called too real or felt isolated for simply being yourself, this message is for you. Comment below. I choose truth over appearances. If you're ready to honor your authenticity and walk boldly in your light, let's rise together, one soul, one truth at a time. 11. You energize or drain others based on their vibration. Some people feel energized in your presence, as if their spirits have been gently lifted just by being near you. Others, however, feel uncomfortable, irritated, or even drained, and it has nothing to do with what you say. It's your aura. Your energy field interacts directly with theirs, exposing emotional tension, repressed wounds, or unresolved thoughts. This energetic reaction isn't personal, it's vibrational. When someone is grounded and aligned, they receive your presence like healing sunlight. But when someone is fragmented or hiding behind defense mechanisms, your light becomes a mirror, and they may flinch at their own reflection. Carl Jung's concept of psychic interaction explains this invisible yet powerful exchange. He believed that people constantly project unconscious material onto others, and that deeper personalities like yours tend to attract stronger projections. Your aura doesn't just exist, it communicates. It speaks directly to the unspoken, stirring truth in others, even if they aren't ready to hear it. That's why people sometimes misunderstand you or retreat from your presence. You are not just a person to them. You are a trigger, a spotlight, a spiritual wake-up call. Think of those times when someone told you they felt peaceful around you, as if a weight had lifted, even though you barely spoke. That's not coincidence. It's a testament to your frequency. But also think about when you walked into a room and immediately felt drained. Maybe your body tensed up, your mood shifted, or you sensed hostility without reason. That wasn't just intuition. It was your energetic boundaries being tested. You absorb what's around you more deeply than others, and your body responds before your mind even knows why. In the workplace, your calm confidence may be seen as a threat to those fueled by competition and control. They may act cold, passive-aggressive, or overly critical, not because you're wrong, but because your presence unsettles their masks. Your steadiness makes their inner chaos louder. Your honesty makes their avoidance harder, and your compassion highlights their disconnect. That's why the same aura that uplifts one person might disturb another. You don't change, but their reaction does, based on their level of inner harmony. This dynamic is not something you need to fix. It's something you must understand. When your aura is strong and integrated, it becomes a tuning fork for truth. Those attuned to love, growth, and integrity will resonate with you. Those clinging to illusions, ego, and denial will resist you. Both are reflections, not judgments. Your role is not to dim your energy to be accepted. Your role is to discern, to choose wisely who gets access to your presence and who doesn't. When someone tells you that you're too much, it often means your authenticity demands a level of self-honesty they're not ready for. When someone says they feel calm just being near you, it's because their soul recognizes yours. You are the energetic mirror, the amplifier, the quiet force that reveals what's hidden, and that power is sacred. Protect it. 12. People confide in you unintentionally. People open up to you without warning. They share things they've kept hidden for years, their regrets, wounds, private stories, and suppressed emotions. You don't ask for it, yet they pour it out. This isn't a coincidence. Your aura creates a field of safety, a silent invitation that tells people you're safe here. They feel seen in your presence, not judged. You don't just hear them, you feel them. And in a world where most people are starving for emotional safety, your energy becomes their refuge. Carl Jung once said, "Knowing your own darkness is the best method for dealing with the darkness of other people." That's exactly what you radiate. People trust you because whether you speak it or not, your energy carries the wisdom of survival. You've walked through your own shadows, and that silent knowing draws others in. Your aura doesn't just glow, it mirrors truth. It tells people it's okay to feel, it's okay to heal. And so, without understanding why, they tell you everything. But what they don't realize is that this gift can become a burden. You're left holding the weight of stories that aren't yours. People leave lighter, while you walk away heavier. It's subtle at first, a little fatigue, a little brain fog, the quiet pressure of being too emotionally full. Then one day, you realize you've become everyone's healer, yet no one knows when you're hurting. That's why energetic boundaries aren't just helpful, they're essential. Being kind doesn't mean being a container for other people's pain. Just because someone opens up doesn't mean you're meant to carry it. Sometimes, the most powerful thing you can say is, "I hear you, but I'm not in a space to take this on right now." You're not rejecting them. You're protecting yourself. You must also tend to your energetic hygiene. Cleanse your space. Cleanse your spirit. Whether that's through deep breathing, prayer, journaling, or simply being alone in silence, do whatever reconnects you to your own center. Your aura is your energetic signature, and just like your body, it needs rest, protection, and renewal. Being a space of emotional safety is sacred, but it must be balanced with self-respect. You are not here to absorb everyone's emotional chaos. You are here to guide, to reflect, and to stand in your power. You don't have to dim your light, but you do have to guard the flame. Have people ever opened up to you out of nowhere, as if your presence gave them permission to be real? If you've experienced this, share your story in the comments so others can relate and learn. If not, comment, "I am open to understanding," to begin recognizing the quiet power your energy holds. 13. Your aura is a sacred responsibility, not a trophy. A powerful aura is not a trophy to be polished and shown off. It is the visible evidence of deep inner work, emotional maturity, and spiritual integrity. It means you've walked through fire without losing your softness. You've learned the value of silence, the necessity of solitude, and the sacredness of saying no. Carl Jung emphasized that transformation doesn't come from imagining light, but from making the darkness conscious. Your aura reflects how much of that darkness you've faced, integrated, and transmuted into strength, presence, and stillness. Your energy doesn't just light up a room, it shifts it. People can feel your frequency before you speak. Some are drawn to it like a lighthouse in a storm. Others are unsettled, even repelled, because your very presence confronts what they've buried. You don't need to speak for your aura to speak for you. But this isn't about power or dominance, it's about clarity. And clarity is disruptive to confusion. The The clearer you are within yourself, the more sharply you reflect the illusions around you. That's why you feel misunderstood. That's why strangers react strongly to your presence. You're not being judged. You're being felt. This sacred frequency you carry is not for everyone. It's for those ready to remember who they are. Your aura acts as a mirror, one that reflects not only beauty, but also buried pain. Some people project their unhealed wounds onto you. They don't even know why, but being around you makes them feel exposed. This is not your fault. It's your function. You're not here to fix them. You're not here to rescue. You're here to be a living vibration that stirs souls awake. That is the role of a true light bearer. Not to heal on command, but to embody wholeness so fully that healing becomes contagious. Because your aura is so potent, boundaries are not optional. They're sacred. You are the gatekeeper of your energy. Not everyone deserves access. Just like a temple is protected, so too must your energetic field be. That doesn't make you harsh, it makes you wise. Spiritual maturity means recognizing that being available to everyone can dilute your purpose. You weren't meant to be everywhere, for everyone, all the time. Your time, your space, your essence, they are offerings. And offerings are sacred because they're rare, intentional, and aligned. The more integrated you are, the more people will mistake you for being too much, too deep, too quiet, too intense. But that's not your burden to carry. The discomfort they feel is not your responsibility to resolve. It is a reflection of their own fragmentation. You didn't cause it. You revealed it. Let them call it whatever they need to. Your job is not to shrink into something safer. Your job is to remain in your truth. This is what it means to live with a powerful aura. Not to be admired, but to be unshakable. Not to impress, but to embody. Not to shine above, but to awaken within. As we uncover the 13 signs of a powerful aura, let this be more than just insight. Let it be a mirror to your inner strength. Your presence here means you're not afraid of your light. Comment below. My aura speaks before I do, to affirm your power and inspire others on the same path. Let's continue this journey together. Thank you for joining us on this eye-opening journey into the hidden power of your aura. If today's message resonated with you and helped you recognize the strength of your energy, remember you are not alone, and your presence has a purpose. There is so much more to uncover on this path of spiritual awakening and energetic mastery. If you found value in this video, don't forget to like, share it with someone who needs this insight, and subscribe to Spiritual Wisdom. Make sure to turn on the notification bell so you never miss an opportunity to grow deeper and shine brighter. Your energy is a gift. Honor it, protect it, and let it lead you forward.